कुछ पाने की हो आस आस, कोई अरमा हो जो खास खास आशाएं, हर कोशिश में हो बार बार, करे दरियाओं को आर पार आशाएं, तूफानों को चीर के मंजिलों को छीन ले, आशाएं हिले दिल की, उम्मीदें हंसे दिल की, अब मुश्किल नहीं कुछ भी, नहीं कुछ भी, आशाएं हिले दिल की, उम्मीदें हंसे दिल की, अब मुश्किल नहीं कुछ भी, नहीं कुछ भी।
전화 전주 시든 리얼하게
उड़ जाए लेके खुशी अपने संग तुझको वहाँ, जन्नत से मुलाकात हो, पूरी हो तेरी हर दुआ, आशाएं हिले दिल की, उम्मीदें हंसे दिल की, अब मुश्किल नहीं कुछ भी, नहीं कुछ भी, आशाएं हिले दिल की, उम्मीदें हंसे दिल की, अब मुश्किल नहीं कुछ भी, नहीं कुछ भी।
मीटिंग स्टूडियो नहीं इतना मित्र इतना ही मित्र
Okay, good morning and welcome. सब लोगों को नमस्कार, सत श्री अकाल, hello, welcome.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. What we are going to do is to mute people, and when required, since there's about 80 people in the room, when required, people can keep unmuting and then using the mics. Right now, we're just muting people for the next 15 minutes. उसके बाद एक सेक्शन है जहाँ पे हम लोग डायलॉग होगा. अभी पहले 10-15 मिनट हम लोग म्यूटेड रहेंगे, ठीक है? सो आप सबका स्वागत. थैंक्स सो मच फॉर कमिंग ऑन अ सैटरडे मॉर्निंग. I know you're here to talk about this session of the paradoxes of the pandemic, and I think one of the biggest paradoxes that have actually been resolved in this lockdown period is the work-life balance का जो paradox हमारे पास होता था, काम और जिंदगी, कि हम उसको अलग-अलग रखते थे, अभी एकदम दोनों एक दूसरे में मिक्स हो गई हैं. और सैटरडे को भी लगता नहीं है कि हम काम कर रहे हैं, कभी संडे को भी काम हो जाता है, and sometimes we can relax on a Monday morning and do our housework and other chores. So welcome to all of you to this session, Paradoxes of the Pandemic. Some basic announcements on the technical aspects. अगर आप लोग ऊपर राइट में अपने स्क्रीन में जाएंगे तो वहाँ पे एक आपको लिखा हुआ दिखेगा गैलरी व्यू. यू कैन चेंज दैट गैलरी व्यू टू स्पीकर व्यू. उससे आपको स्पीकर का पूरा डायरेक्टली फुल फीचर मिल जाएगा. Not to say that I want my face on your screen, but it'll be useful when all the other speakers are also speaking. The second thing is, आप लोगों का वीडियो सारे ऑफ करके रखें. It'll be better. Will be a point where we will ask you to put on the videos. As I said, at the moment, let's keep them off. Also, audios, please mute them. In cases where it hasn't been muted, we'll be having to mute them ourselves in the beginning. फिर उसके बाद जैसा हमने कहा, ये अनवेबिनार है, इसमें सिर्फ एक वन वे स्पीकिंग नहीं होगा. We'll be having all an interactive discussion and all of you will be invited at that time to start also putting in your viewpoints. So these are, I think, more or less. Also, if any of you want to recognize any of us, if you go to the participants list, वहाँ पे हमने अपने नाम में, जैसे मैंने अपने नाम में अर्जुन VL वार्तालीप लिख दिया है. वार्तालीप कोलेशन से हम लोग हैं. तो आप पर्सनल चैट में हमें बता सकते हैं कुछ अगर बताना चाहें, जो VL के लोग हैं वहाँ पे. Okay, so let's start the 2 hours. I think first the introduction to a little bit, like I said, I'm Arjun Shekhar and one of the co-founders of what we call the Vartalip Coalition. The Vartalip Coalition is about 9 months old, but it's been incubated by Community the Youth Collective and Ashoka Innovators for the Public. And we have, हम लोग एक क्रॉस सेक्टोरल कोलैबोरेशन है जो सिविल सोसाइटी से हटके बहुत और सेक्टर से भी लोग हैं यहाँ, एजुकेशन सेक्टर से, गवर्नमेंट से, फिलैंथ्रोपी से, UN agencies and media. So we are kind of a mixed cross sectoral, and the need we felt for this cross sectoral collaboration was very simple. कि सिविल सोसाइटी में सिर्फ करके हम लोग जो हम एम है इस वार्तालीप कोलिशन का, which means we want to leap beyond the normal narrative and ensure that every youth becomes a Jagrik. A Jagrik is meaning somebody who is a Jagruk Nagrik, जो सिर्फ not only involved जो change making में ही involved नहीं है, but also becomes the change and he can be the change or she can be the change. And also we want every space to be nurturing these Jagriks. So that's why we would like to welcome you to our coalition. All of you are welcome to join this coalition as well. But meanwhile, a small taste of what we do and what we talk about today and how we really get into doing every youth a Jagrik. We had a session in this conference on Thursday as well, very well received. Which kind of inaugurated and talked about this more. Today, the paradoxes session that we are talking about. Why paradoxes? Why do we really want to talk about paradoxes? और ये जो section है हम लोग ये citizenship का section है, which we are part of. And citizenships में, why does every active citizen or every Jagrik, why talk about paradoxes? Now that's like an important question for us to talk about, because they anyway we say they're problem solvers. What's the harm? They can keep problem solving. For this, I'll just be asking you to see a situation. So once one of these days, I had put up a Facebook post in which I asked a simple question. For many of the Jagriks who are working in COVID relief right now, that question really resonated. कि मैंने पूछा कि आप लोग अगर जब किसी hungry person को feed करने जा रहे हैं, और क्या अगर वो फीड जो किसको कर रहे हैं वो आपसे ये प्रश्न पूछता है कि आपकी रिलीजन क्या है, तो आप क्या करेंगे? है ना, आप भी सोचने की बात है हम सबके लिए. तो एक इसी पे और इसी मुद्दे को लेके वी पुट इन अ स्मॉल इंटरेक्शन, अ थॉट एक्सपेरिमेंट एज वी आर कॉलिंग इट. आपकी स्क्रीन में होगा ये. मैं इसके लिए मेंटीमीटर यूज करूंगा. ये स्क्रीन में से हट गया है, सो एक मेंटीमीटर का एक ऑप्शन है चैट में. जब जगह जाएंगे तो आप मेंटीमीटर, उसके अंदर एक कोड भी होगा, मेंटीमीटर एंड कोड. इफ यू गो इनटू योर चैट एंड ओपन अप द मेंटीमीटर and put in the code, you will see this question there again. The question is here. You're a relief agency in Delhi. आप एक रिलीफ एजेंसी हैं दिल्ली में. आपने एक अर्जेंट कॉल आपको रिसीव किया, उसमें आपके लिए किसी ने मदद मांगी है कि बहुत नंबर हैं लोग जो कोविड लॉकडाउन की वजह से रिमोट जगह में फंसे हुए हैं, राशन वहां पहुंच नहीं पा रहे हैं और दे आर गोइंग हंग्री. व्हाट डू वी डू? एंड द ओनली वॉलंटरी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन प्रेजेंट जो वहां पे है वो पुराने और पहले भी उसने ये एसोसिएटेड रहा है कम्युनल मैसेजिंग से. कम्युनल मतलब सांप्रदायिकता के खिलाफ उनकी मैसेजिंग, असांप्रदायिक सांप्रदायिक मैसेजिंग है उसमें वो और उसमें एक्शंस भी उन्होंने ऐसे ही कम्युनल एक्शंस भी करे हैं पास्ट में. Now would you fund them to supply the much needed rations? And remember this is all urgency है, urgent आया हुआ है और आपको आंसर करना है yes, no या uncertain. जल्दी से आप अपने आंसर इसके अंदर डाल देंगे मेंटीमीटर में प्लीज. I'll just wait for 30 seconds but not more. Very quickly, there are 114 people here. I'd like at least 100 answers on that Mentimeter. I hope everybody's been able to get into the code डाल के वहां पे पहुंच गए आप. अक्षित जैन ने डाला है. Mentimeter का कोड क्या है? लिंक में कोड नहीं चाहिए. ओके. Direct link. Okay. You don't need the code, it seems.
No code required.
Okay. So you're a relief agency. You're asked by a communal organization, communal messaging action वाला organization कि आप relief किसी remote area में urgent relief needed है, हमको कुछ funds चाहिए, तो आप उस organization को fund करेंगे कि नहीं? Yes. Yeah, we can just show the Mentimeter. The answers as they're coming.
I couldn't find that.
Find the Mentimeter.
No, I couldn't find the Mentimeter.
आप चैट में जाएंगी, वहां पे menti.com है, वहां पे अक्षित जैन से एक आया हुआ है. चैट में जाना पड़ेगा आपको. You'll have to go to the chat.
I'm doing this with my mobile phone and I don't have that chat.
Nee, if you go to Zoom, it'll be on every mobile phone. There's no problem. There's a chat line at the bottom. That chat line, if you go to in Zoom, there's a chat line. If you just go where participants chat, everything is. तो वहाँ एक chat में आप click करेंगी तो वहाँ Mentimeter आएगा. Okay.
I couldn't find that. My answer is yes.
Okay, let's go with that. I'll take yours in there. Thank you. Preferable if you don't use the mic right now, otherwise there will be a lot of chaos. So 115. Even if you want, you can just write in the chat. I'm presuming chat आपको पता है कहाँ पे है. उसमें भी आप अपना आंसर लिख सकते हैं directly. हम वहीं से भी ले सकते हैं. अगर Mentimeter में नहीं जा पा रहे हैं तो सीधे chat में लिख दें आप. Yes, no. Great. So we have 125 people actually here now. And the question is, if some people are coming in new, that would you fund an organization which has communal messaging and action in the past to do relief work in a remote place जहाँ urgent चाहिए, urgent situation है, क्या आप उनको fund करेंगे कि नहीं? तो आप chat में भी yes no लिख सकते हैं. अगर time नहीं है तो नहीं तो fund में नहीं तो Mentimeter में जाके कर लेंगे. We'll be closing the Mentimeter and this section in another 30 seconds. Okay, so almost wow, about 53 people who are saying yes, lesser number saying no, and uncertain is 14. So it's interesting. Yeah, we can take it off now. So maybe let's say clearly the yes numbers are much higher than the no. And it's interesting that these are the kind of paradoxes या ये विरोधाभास जैसे कहते हैं हिंदी में हमको we are faced with all the time when we are jagriks or citizens trying to work in the ground. Because yeah, it is as important that communal forces are empowered as it is that hungry people who need relief can be given that kind of relief. दोनों बहुत important चीजें हैं. But this is the thing with paradoxes. Paradoxes are holding both sides as they are good. That ये भी needed है, ये भी needed है. जैसे climate है और climate status quo है या climate जैसा है वैसा रहे और हमें consumption, healthy consumption के option मिलते रहें, ये भी एक paradox हो गया कि हम कैसे दोनों चीजों को handle करें. How do we handle both ends of the stick? This is what a paradox always is about. The interesting thing out this is that our minds and why we don't like paradoxes, because problems तो easy हैं, linear है, root cause ढूंढो, आगे बढ़ो, करते रहो, जो कहीं अगर conflict नहीं आ रहा है, no problem. And usually what happens with such problem solving scenarios is that, like for example, COVID के लिए vaccine ढूंढना है, कोई problem नहीं है, ढूंढिए, अब अपने आप को बंद कीजिए लैब में और ढूंढते रहिए, सालों साल कोई problem नहीं है, there's no problem there. But the problems come in when we come to the reality, where the reality is kind of a nuanced reality, but we refuse to take in the dual story that is coming in. हम typically वो single story पे काफी अपने आप को उसमें फंसे रहते हैं, घुस जाते हैं, और वो single story के लिए, क्योंकि हमारा mind would like to have this either black or white, yes or no. We don't want to look at like the grays escape us, especially when there is something urgent to happen. और इस केस में काफी urgent scenario था, इसीलिए काफी लोगों ने decide किया कि communal जाए भाड़ में, कम से कम उनको food तो पहुंचाना है, कोई बात नहीं. और किन्हीं लोगों ने कहा नहीं, communal is more important than food to me, so I will not allow. So religious tolerance and hunger relief, hunger alleviation, दोनों को कैसे साथ लेके चलें, ये हमारा दिमाग चलता नहीं है, क्योंकि जब अर्जेंट सिनेरियोज होते हैं तो हमको येस और नो चाहिए. बहुत कम लोगों ने अनसर्टन किया यहाँ पे, और वो अनसर्टनिटी को मैं और थोड़ा सा रखना चाहूंगा आप लोगों के पास, कि ये अनसर्टनिटी को हम कभी कभी अंडर कॉन्फिडेंस लेके उसके ऊपर ध्यान नहीं देते हैं. वी डोंट गिव इट दैट मच ऑफ इम्पोर्टेंस, बट एक्चुअली दिस श्योरनेस समटाइम्स इज व्हाट इज कमिंग इन द वे रादर देन द डाउट. देयर इज नो हार्म विद हैविंग डाउट, also with decisiveness. Decisive, but with doubt, because you can't be sure that you're going to be right every time. And that came up, if you remember, in our early days of when this COVID problem came up. All of us, including the government and everywhere around the world, there was such a halla that all of us decided, okay, let's go with lives. Lives is the most important thing in this world. So we went with lives. We had the most stringent lockdown, almost, or the second most stringent lockdown in the world. And at a very early stage, we had that lockdown for a very long time. And what we then, within a week, the rest of the story started emerging. But during that time, we didn't think of that story. When it started emerging was when those photos of the migrants in droves all over the big cities coming up in either, walking on the streets, etc., etc. I won't even go into that, how much pain that caused all of us. And then that story began to emerge. तो ये हमको जब पता है कि इस lives के अंदर livelihoods कहीं पे अंदर already वो story में nestled है, the other story is nestled within the larger story, but we forget and we decide to do, yes, communal organization को देना है पैसा, no, नहीं देना है. But this doubt, uncertainty is where we need to also believe that we need to talk about. So this is one of our big paradoxes for today, lives and livelihoods. दोनों को साथ लेके हम लोग all the time together कैसे ले जा सकते हैं. मैं इसको कहता हूँ एक zebra truth है. ये zebra truth मतलब zebra knows what's right, कि black भी है, white भी है, दोनों चलेगा भाई, दोनों को चलाना है. इसमें कोई grey भी sometimes नहीं होता, क्योंकि decisively आपको दोनों तरफ से लेना पड़ता है. So it's like a zebra truth we need to go with. Now, the second paradox that we'll talk about, so India, we talked about the US decided not to give the lives such a big importance and gave livelihoods the more important. And there the story emerged about many lives being taken and the lives being lost. And democratic rights versus public health. So, and then there was Sweden in the middle. Sweden decided कि हम एजेंसी भी देंगे लोगों को, और एजेंसी देते भी पब्लिक हेल्थ भी देखी जाएगी. तो राइट्स भी हैं, but we'll give them a warning and they'll look after themselves and look after the public health as well, self as well as public. And they left it at that. In that leaving also, of course, lives have been lost, but also the economy has continued and they managed to have a decent this thing between democratic rights and public health. That's our second room. A third room is, of course, the mother of all paradoxes. और ये है कैसे ये narratives और reality, how we need to take both today, narratives and reality. So many stories coming at us all the time. For example, did you know 2009 में हमको swine flu हुआ. Swine flu जब आया उसकी mortality rate 4.5% है, जबकि COVID-19 की maximum अभी 1.8-2% कह सकते हैं आप at a pinch. वहाँ 57 million people were affected. आज यहाँ पे 4.5 million people are affected. That's become endemic. मतलब आता रहता है, बार बार आएगा वो स्वाइन फ्लू, हर साल आता है. और इस बार यहाँ पे भी ये भी लोग कह रहे हैं, और WHO health president has said that this is also going to probably stay with us. But why has this become such a big thing than swine flu, bigger than swine flu? Well, just consider this. In 2009, in WhatsApp, there was no WhatsApp. There were only 150 million Facebook accounts. Now in 2020, we have 2.2 billion WhatsApp and 1.7 billion on Facebook only. Forget all the other social media new handles that have come up. So how we are consuming news has tectonically shifted. And in fact, the eternal fight is no more between good and evil. It's probably between words and experience. And now I'd like to therefore move on to this third, is the narratives versus reality. I'll introduce the rooms. I've introduced the hosts now. And you'll break up into these rooms, which are called fishbowl dialogue rooms. And they'll explain when you get there. And I'd love to have all of you put on your videos if you can, please. I'd like to introduce the Lives and Livelihoods room. Will be looked out by Avinash, who heads Amnesty International right now, has been part of Oxfam, has been part of WaterAid, and Piyush, who runs Optimist Citizen, is a optimistic newspaper talking about good news and coming out of Bhopal. We have in the public health and democratic rights, we have Shankar Venkateshwaran, who's I think well known across the social sector and other sectors. At one time was in America India Foundation, headed that, but also is now on many chairs, many boards, including Oxfam and many other boards in the social sector. He's going to be assisted and be co-hosted by Kanika. Kanika Sinha is the CEO, is the convener of Community Youth Collective, and one of the founder members of the Vartalip. By the way, all of them here are Vartalip coalition members that we are presenting to you, who are co-hosts with me. The narrative versus reality room is going to be co-hosted with Shohini. Shohini is a person who's been now heading Breakthrough, is again one of the iconic organizations, and she's a very iconic person herself. So Shohini Bhattacharya works in gender, and the other person with her is Kejal, very iconic young leader who runs and is running an organization called Blue Ribbon Movement in Mumbai, and she's going to be together with these guys. So I'm going to stop here and visit, and we'll all be back together in a plenary in an hour. What you have to do as you go into the rooms is that you are a committee which has been selected to advise the chief ministers of the one state on how you can live the whole in the paradox of lives and livelihoods, democratic rights and public health, and narratives and reality. How you can live the whole, and suggestions for the youth in that state as well. And it'll be further explained as you go to the rooms. So Akshat, take it away. You'll be put into rooms randomly because we've not been able to select. People haven't selected their paradoxes, so bear with us. You'll be put into the different rooms randomly. And there are about 140 people here, so let's have some fun.
There's an echo that is happening. This is better. Yeah, this is much better. So just speak the way you.
Okay. Is it better
Yeah,
now?
Rita, this is better.
Okay. So what I'm trying to say is that there are multiple narratives in last 60 days. It's not only one narrative.
True.
So the first narrative was around it is like a game game, and that was around either to China or to certain community, especially the Muslims. But I think gradually it changed, and the people were forced to change the narrative, and then the migrant thing came up. But I think for me, the biggest takeaway is that it is a public health system's failure and the failure of governance. That narrative is completely missing, because the entire thing is a health issue. It has not been, and now the narrative is more about the economic and the livelihood and other issues. But the main narrative is that it is a public health issue that I'm not been hearing, listening or seeing we are seeing a lot of this, and we are seeing their interviews and educating us about the disease.
So, Ashok, lines to the state.
So when we're talking about paradoxes and realities, one is for the economy, work from home has been enabled, but yourself to explore things and everything. But we also forget that it is very difficult for many people to just survive the isolation. The whole keeping yourself self isolation and being at home the whole time. And also, so it takes a toll on people, because if you're not able to engage yourself with others or interact with others, and this is from a more mental health aspect. But also, if we see, the cases of domestic violence have also increased since the lockdown is in place, because now, especially because there is no, to put it crudely, there is no way to engage yourself in alcohol or other narcotics. So what you tend to take out that anger or withdrawal symptoms at home, and hence those things have increased. And these aspects should be taken care of while implementing such a large scale lockdown.
Yeah, I think when the lockdown began, I saw a lot of posts about how to keep sanity, how to keep yourself mentally, positive, spirited. So there is that narrative about isolation being like a really difficult thing to deal with. At the same time, we hear about the creativity flourishing at the time of COVID. So COVID creativity, with people having a lot of more time for family and having time to cook, having time to make, different kinds of arts, etc. So, I mean, sometimes I'm quite overwhelmed with the number of people who think it's a difficult time, because many people seem to enjoy it and don't want to actually get back to the life before lockdown, having to travel and so much every day, the conveyance of the pain of waking up at a certain time. It's not much more flexible. So I think those are very two different kinds of narratives about what lockdown means. The second one, which is actually connected to government measures also across the world, is that there seems to be a need for some kind of control, especially regarding mobility. But what China has done, for example, and now also Indian government has launched apps to sort of constantly monitor people's mobility to be able to control COVID. So in China, it's become mandatory for everyone to have that app so that government can track who's moving and to know identify possible hotspots. Now that seems very important at one level, but at the same time also happens because sometimes people act crazy, yes, but at the same time, so should I really give data a national global level movement?
And in India, though it's mandatory, Supreme Court has said that it need not be mandatory.
Yeah, but for the central government staff, etc., it is mandatory. And then it's mandatory.
True. And if you're traveling, also it's mandatory, right? Thank you very much, Shraddha. Great points, Divya.
And Shraddha said, I think at a personal level, the paradox very much between recently the government came out in the East, and immediately in my RWA sort of WhatsApp community, there was this whole thing of no, we should not allow, for example, domestic helps to come in. And while there is a very real, fear of spreading infection, some people actually said that, what if they catch it from us, and their access to health and the kind of, resources that they have to cope with this disease is very limited. So let's not put them at risk. Of course, the others were like, they are coming from unhygienic and very cluttered areas. So let's not put ourselves in other places, increasing restrictions on girls. This is increasing their isolation, their domestic burden at home, the likelihood of them getting pressurized into marriage, because there's this whole atmosphere of fear where parents also probably feel that, kal ko kya hamara ho na ho, to chalo aaj shaadi, जैसे ही लॉकडाउन होगा तो शादी करा देते ताकि एटलीस्ट हमारी लड़की को हम उसके घर पहुंचा देंगे. So in all of this from the government, what is missing really is any kind of there is this whole sort of mandate, rather than looking at proactive steps of, if school is a very important way to reduce child marriage or to get girls to be able to negotiate within the home, what starting education facilities. There's complete silence on that, except in few states. Checks that people should not come out of their huts even in villages. So what are we talking about, personal freedoms and the ability, where it's my personal thoughts.
Right. Thanks, Divya. When you were, so Shalini will put up a slide on the guidelines, and we will, if we could really speak now, in what are the guidelines? Public health is something that you want to talk about. How to deal with the isolation versus the mental health issues. That's something. Surviving in isolation, mental health and domestic violence, are these going to be also part of the the directive that the government is going to give out along with lockdown and other kind of issues? So that is one of the things. Setu app, Arogya Setu app, the privacy versus access. So how do we address the question of access? Yeah, and how can the government ensure that our privacy is going to be maintained? Yeah. People without smartphone, how are they going to access the Arogya Setu app, and how can the government ensure and make us feel good about the fact that these are 4 guidelines we have come up with now. Shalini, the last one was actually, if government could actually treat mental health and domestic violence as part of the directive on how to handle it during the pandemic, that could kind of become point number 5, I guess. So somebody from Anchali Gram Unnayan and Rafiq, if you could also add to, if you want to add to some of these points, if you can come in now.
Hello, ma'am. Thank you so much. I'm Rafiqul from Anchali Gram Unnayan Parishad.
Hi.
I have a very brief suggestion that these narratives severely affect our reality. So it is the mainstream media that have been really spreading this poisonous venom, communal venom. So they have been coloring the facts in religious point of view. So if government, other than keeping quiet, issue guidelines to the mainstream media that no such issue should be given a religious color. And because of that, we have been facing problems. There are places where people say, in the meantime, I had some illness and I went to a doctor who happened to be Hindu, as I am a Muslim. So he refused to touch me and come near me. So that was an interesting thing. However, I had to get over that somehow. So this is the thing that government should issue strict guidelines to the media, mainstream media, that they should not be spreading this kind of anything other than Hindu, Muslim, or whatever religious color. So that's the thing I would say. Because of lack of time, I thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. So, so when we are, we would now want some more people to raise their hands. We have time for about 2 to 3 more people to talk about the guidelines to the government. I just want to, so there's on chat, somebody has said, we must talk about migrants and basic cash transfer, right to survival. But the reality is that when you are working from home, your work boundaries are not being seen here. 5 baje, 7 baje, 8 baje. Women who work people. So I would like you to, when you are talking about it, I'd like you to focus on those narrative and reality kind of things. Narrative is that we are very cheerful, we are learning new skills, we are learning cooking, we are doing so much things, but the reality is that I don't have a good day all the time. Today might be a good day, I'm feeling very chirpy because I'm talking to you. Monday morning I want to get up, I don't want to get up from bed. ये होता है, सबको होता है. I'm sure if I go around the room, सबने share करेंगे. तो इसको कैसे deal करें? Government से क्या बोल सकते हैं हम? Working from
Can
home.
I just say, sorry,
Yeah, please.
sorry,
Go ahead,
Shalini,
please.
maybe I'm a little confused about this, but one is that the reason what is the right thing to do to build one narrative, that what guideline?
No, there might be several narratives, like we have seen 5 or 6 narratives in this conversation itself, and some are personal, but there can be a to the government and say, please issue guidelines about on this Arogya Setu app. It's possible for us, which is possible for a government to give us guideline on, right? Anybody else wants to raise their hand on this one?
About being uncertain, and I think similar thing Arjun was mentioning in the beginning and the plenary. It's okay to be uncertain. That building a standing for us. How can we get the government to put a structure that's enabling this? I think Rafiq round
on the, deal with it. But I have not seen so many, jokes or memes going on how women actually are dealing with it. So some of those narratives, need to be fleshed out. Is there anybody else who would like to talk about this? Otherwise, we will go to the guidelines and close the session for the state and go on to the next bit, which is for the youth. Anybody else? Nobody among the 35 people who are in the room? Nobody wants to talk? Prapti, go ahead, please. Prapti?
Hello.
Yeah, hi.
Am I audible? Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, so I just wanted to like add a point that, you know, there have been a lot of schemes that government is providing us information about, like all these economic packages and, you know, other things. But, you know, there is no clarity of how these funds are being actually used for the people. So they're just showing us that, you know, there is this much amount of money that has been spent on XYZ, but we actually don't know if it's been spent or not. So I think a little clarity on that from the government side, that, you know, this much amount have been something.
Yeah, one sentence from the last speaker, the issue looks different. Like from a middle class point of view, from an urban area, it's different. But I think in urban areas, there is like a huge percentage of people who are poor. So I think if you wear that lens, the issue looks completely different and it is about survival. So in the guideline, we definitely need to talk about a scheme like Narega for the urban poor. We also need to talk about the children, especially how vulnerable they are becoming now to the trafficking, to the abuse and the rise of pornography. So I think these are certain things we have to emphasize along with the rational and survival and finance. Thanks.
Rita, your voice wasn't very clear. If you could write it down on the chat, I think that will help, because I think you made a very important point there. So if you could write it down in the chat, it will be very, very beneficial for all of us.
Okay, I'm doing it.
Thanks. So we have the last person who we would wants to speak on this issue particularly, Ravinder. And then we will come up with the guidelines, and we can all kind of take a look at it and see that, yes, these are our final recommendations. Yeah. So Ravinder, go.
Thank you, Soini ji. मेरा जो एक पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू इसमें मैं देख रहा हूँ कि जिस तरीके से गवर्नमेंट नैरेटिव्स, गवर्नमेंट जो एक चीज़ दिखाने की कोशिश कर रही है कि वो हर किसी भी परिस्थिति में लड़ने के लिए और इसमें हमें सुरक्षा देने के लिए तैयार है, लेकिन वो कहीं ना कहीं बहुत ही जाकर के मतलब सब चीजें एक तरह से फेलियर करके कन्वर्ट होती जा रही हैं। लाइक आप देखिए, सबसे पहले जब एकदम कोरोना स्टार्ट हुआ था तो टीवी के ऊपर भी ऐड आनी शुरू हो गई थी कि सैनिटाइज कीजिए, सैनिटाइज से बचेंगे, सैनिटाइज कीजिए। तो गवर्नमेंट को या प्रशासन को फिर बाद में समझ में आया कि हर आदमी सैनिटाइज नहीं कर सकता है, नहीं ले सकता है, तो उन्होंने फिर बोलना शुरू कर दिया कि आप किसी भी प्रकार का कोई भी साबुन ले लीजिए, साबुन से हाथ धो लीजिए, उससे भी कोरोना किल हो जाएगा, आप उससे भी सेफ्टी रख सकते हैं। तो सिचुएशन के अकॉर्डिंगली जैसे जैसे गवर्नमेंट को नजर आ रहा है कि हम लोग ये चीज प्रोवाइड नहीं कर पा रहे हैं और पब्लिक के पास ये चीजें हैं, तो उसी का यूज बता करके उनको आप सेटिस्फाई कर दीजिए कि आप लोग इनसे बच सकते हैं। फिर सेकंड टाइम ये चीज आया कि गवर्नमेंट ने बोला कि हम पर डे इतने बेड्स हमारे पास इतने बेड्स हैं कि यदि पर डे हमारे पास 500 से लेकर 1000 तक के केसेस अगर पर डे के आते हैं तो हम लोग उन सबको बेड्स प्रोवाइड कर सकते हैं। अभी तो हम उस स्थिति में दिल्ली में नहीं पहुंच पाए हैं, लेकिन फिर भी अभी तक उन लोगों को आप बेड की बात तो छोड़ दीजिए, उनके टेस्ट तक भी नहीं हो पा रहे हैं। इवन मेरे आसपास के एरिया में भी 2-3 केस ऐसे आए हैं और उनकी भी हालात ये थी कि घंटों तक एम्बुलेंस के लिए कॉल करने के बाद भी एम्बुलेंस तक भी नहीं आ पा रही है। तो ये एक तरीके से टोटल फेलियर नजर आ रहा है। लेकिन अब हो सकता है कि गवर्नमेंट की अपनी क्षमताएं कुछ इस तरीके की हैं, वो पहले से प्रिपेयर नहीं थी इन सब चीजों के लिए, बट फिर भी अब उनको जो भी उनके पास माध्यम है उनका सदुपयोग करना चाहिए। लाइक अभी हमारे यहाँ पर एरिया में क्या, दिल्ली जैसे क्षेत्र में सबके पास बहुत छोटे छोटे मकान हैं, इवन मेरे घर के आसपास अगर हम देखेंगे तो हार्डली 20-20 गज के मकान है, 20-20 मीटर के। अगर आप किसी को उसमें कोरोना हो जाता है तो उसमें बोलते हैं कि आप अपने घर में क्वारंटाइन हो जाइए, तो 20 गज के मकान में 4 लोग रहते हैं, 5 लोग रहते हैं, तो कैसे वो अपने आप को क्वारंटाइन करेगा? तो उसके लिए गवर्नमेंट के पास जो भी उपलब्ध हैं, चाहे स्कूल्स हैं या कुछ भी हैं, उनको वो अगर क्वारंटाइन करने के लिए वहाँ पर आसपास के एरिया में उनको कर दें तो वो बेटर होगा।
थैंक यू रविंदर। और अभी हम क्या करेंगे, अभिजीत, I request you to hold your thoughts for the next round. Yeah, we will of course listen to you in the next round. We will put up some of the recommendations that we want to send to the state on this. Yeah, Shalini, if you could share the slides so that we are all we all kind of agree to this, and then we are going to do the same kind of thing for youth. And I would like, again, about 5 to 6 volunteers who could raise their hands for the next round of conversation. And the rest of you can continue to put your thoughts on the Padlet. And we will have around about 25 minutes or so to have the next round of discussion. Shalini, is it possible to share it now? The recommendations? Great. Right. So we are looking at exploring proactive states to restart education facilities, more information on public health versus, versus the economic thing. How do we address the question of access to smartphones when we have to download the Arogya Setu? So the paradox between access and the need for this, and also the question about how our privacy is going to be mentioned. Mental health and domestic violence is not part of a government directive, so this is a challenge in the reality. Guidelines to maintain mainstream media to ensure that information dissemination is not communally colored or any other kind of color, caste, class, religion, gender. Clarity on economic outreach, and people in different social locations relate to issues differently. Urban poverty must be highlighted, and maybe an Manrega scheme for the urban poor. Yeah. So these are some of the things that we have found. Some of the the paradoxes within the narrative and the reality. The narrative is that rural areas mein bahut sare problems hai. Reality is that urban areas may be problem hai, right? So we have to constantly look at that. I think we will, Shalini, thank you so much for this. We will keep adding to it if there are people who are writing on the Padlets and if there are some important messages there. I now request 5 to 6 more new people to raise their hand. This time we are going to actually discuss the directive for youth. What would you like to tell youth collectives, youth workers, youth in general, on how to maintain or how to address or how to deal with paradoxes between the narrative and reality during these times of COVID? Kejal, is there anything you would like to add to this at this point of time?
Yes, I just thought I'll also bring in a little bit of context. I think when we're looking at narratives and reality, we were looking at a broader lens, but now when we are looking at youth, or when we're trying to focus from a youth lens, I think very important to also look at the amount of consumption of social media young people are doing, may it be Facebook, Instagram, or may it be WhatsApp, and it's not so much limited to urban only, it's becoming quite vast. So when we are looking at now narrative and reality, I think this consumption is constantly shaping young people's mind in a certain manner. हम जिस तरीके की information ले रहे हैं उससे हम कुछ तरीके से सोच रहे हैं, और ये जो सोच है हमारे actions में आ रही है और इससे कुछ emotions build हो रहे हैं. जैसे कि I was talking to a friend and a friend said that the amount of information is so much कि there are so many conspiracy theories, there are so many different type of things being said, but they do not know what is reality in the multiple information that they are finding, listening to. So how do we find what's the reality while also looking at the different narratives given to us, and how do I make sense of this as a young person? What are the tools, what are the specific things that will help me to, hold this thing of what I'm listening to and what the reality is, and how do I make sense of this? And also some space, I think I thought to bring a focus on the mental health aspect of this. When young people are again consuming this, how is this affecting their psyche? How is it affecting their emotions? And there's a lot of feeling of directionlessness, lot of pain, lot of not knowing what to do, sense of scatteredness is arising. But yes, still we are consuming a lot of content, or we're just completely switching off and going away from media. But that makes us again lose a sense of touch with what's happening in the reality. So just I think wanting to invite people, since most of us are working with young people or in touch with them in some or the other manner, how can we broaden and look at this to hold this paradox of what really is happening around us, what is being fed to us, and how do we hold the two together to make sense for us in our experience with what's happening right now? So inviting some recommendations on that from everyone.
So we've had Abhijit and Abdul, you also want to speak, right? Anybody else? Can I see some more raised hands, and maybe people who are not spoken before? Okay, Pranavesh and Nikita. Okay, Abhijit, do you want to go first? And please keep raising your hands. I'm looking at the participants list. So, Abhijit, do you want to go?
Yeah, actually, thank you, madam. Actually, in this lockdown period, children are staying at home, and also parents are also staying at home. So because of that, the room size is 10 by 10, and maybe over there is 10 people are staying. So in this summer situation, that is also a problem, and also in the same room they are cooking and they are staying. One thing is the protection part. We are saying the corona.
Can you please, Abdul, can you please, yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, go ahead, Abhijit, sorry. Abhijit?
But how they will do it in a small space? And we are saying you will stay in home quarantine. So how they will maintain the home quarantine? Government has to think about our children. Trauma is going on, and in this situation, lot of child abuses cases are increasing. So in the domestic level, domestic violence is also increasing. So how we can save children from that? So that's my issue.
Okay, thank you, Abhijit. That's a very, very important issue. Pranavesh, you want to go next?
Yes. हाँ, हेलो।
Yes, tell us.
हाँ, यूथ के लिए जो मेरा जो सोच है, अभी बहुत सारे स्टोरीज आसपास में घूम रहे हैं। तो एक तो चीज है कि हेल्थ इश्यूज आए हैं कि कैसे हम लोग, मैं रूरल बेल्ट में काम कर रहा हूँ, कि हेल्थ के लिए जितने सारे अवेयरनेस था उसके लिए थोड़ा सा भी कंपोनेंट आए हैं लोगों के पास। और यूथ लोगों का जो है कि अभी ये हेल्थ के लिए कुछ सोच बदलना है। यूथ सिर्फ यूथ नहीं, बाकी सारे लोगों के लिए ये सोच भी बदलना है। और मेंटल हेल्थ का जो इश्यूज आ रहे हैं कि बहुत ये भी डिसीजन लेने का जो ये है, गवर्नमेंट कभी-कभी कुछ डिसीजन ले रहे हैं और हमारे पास जो इंफॉर्मेशन आ रहे हैं और बाद में कुछ दिन बाद और भी डिसीजन ले रहे हैं, वो थोड़ा कंफ्यूजिंग लग रहे हैं। तो अभी ये एक ये आया है कि कौन सा वाला चीज हम लोग लेंगे। अभी सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट ने जो बोल रहे हैं कि हेल्थ आपको हेल्थ को लेके बहुत चिंतित होना है और उसके लिए थोड़ा कुछ करना है, आपका जिम्मेदारी आपको ही लेना है। तो मतलब यूथ लोग देख रहे हैं कि हाँ, ये तो सोचने का बात है, गवर्नमेंट हम लोग को प्रोवाइड करने में क्या क्या देने वाला है, क्या क्या दे सकते हैं, ये भी आज सामने आ रहे हैं। और इकोनॉमिकली हम लोग देखेंगे तो बहुत सारे प्रॉमिस किए हैं, बट ये कितने लोगों के पास आ रहे हैं ये हम लोग भी देख रहे हैं। तो अपने आप हम लोग को कुछ ना कुछ ढूंढना भी है, हमारा अपना लाइवलीहुड में क्या क्या करना है वो यूथ को भी सोचना है। स्कूल, स्पेशली स्कूल चिल्ड्रन जो है, अगर आज स्कूल खुल जाएंगे तो वहाँ पे कैसे रहना है, ये थोड़ा कंफ्यूजिंग है कि कैसे हम लोग स्कूल में सेफ रहेंगे। और जो स्कूल का जो क्या है इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर जो है, अभी बहुत सारे इशू सामने आ गए हैं, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, हेल्थ इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, एजुकेशन इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, ये बहुत सारे चीज सामने आ गए हैं। तो उसको कैसे हम लोग संभाल पाएंगे आज का दिन में, एक मेरा।
Thank you, Pranabesh. Nikita, would you like to go? And after that, I would request my colleague Kejal to share some of the recommendations that came from the last webinar that we did, which are very, very similar. But first, we'll listen to Nikita. Nikita?
Thanks, Shohini. I think what I was going to say was very similar to what Ashok has also written in the chat box, which is, I think as young people, building our capacity to be able to ask the right questions, and the ecosystem that is around a young person to be able to support them in doing so. So not just questions that would enable us to not just differentiate fact from fiction, but also allow us to sort of peel off the layers of a particular narrative. So सिर्फ facts और जो सही है और जो गलत है उसमें अंतर देख पाना, और जो कहानी है वो कहानी कहाँ से आ रही है, उस कहानी में मेरा कौन सा बिलीफ प्ले आउट हो रहा है, ये कहानी क्यों एग्जिस्ट कर रही है. I think also becoming aware that there is a narrative, and just being able to support ourselves with that is something that I think we really need.
Can you speak a little bit more on that point, Nikita? It's a very important point, and can you give a couple of examples, maybe?
Yeah. So one example that I can give is how so there is a lot of misinformation that is around us right now, and we receive a lot of what we call myths that may not be completely true. So recently I heard that eating meat can increase the risk of transmission of the virus, and so for me, I should be able to engage with that piece of information such that I do realize that there is no source. I may have received it on WhatsApp. I do realize there is no proven evidence that suggests that meat eaters are at higher risk. I think for me to also go beyond that a little bit and see कि अगर इसमें facts नहीं है फिर भी ये कहानी क्यों फैली जा रही है ना. So there's also a belief there, there's also a prejudice there, there's also one kind of story against a particular community that is playing out there, and for me to become aware of that as well.
So I mean, one of the things that you could do is really check the gravity of that message. कहाँ से message आया है, technically true है कि नहीं, and then you can share with everybody. Blindly don't share messages. एक क्लास में बिना देखे को भेज दिया. And not just now, it's for forever. Fake news has created such narratives and such paradoxes between narrative and realities that it is something that we should talk about. Kejal, before you share it, there's Vinay who wants to say something, so maybe he should say it, and then you can share the recommendations that came last time. Vinay?
Thank you मुझे अपॉर्चुनिटीज बोलने के लिए. So my point is mental health. क्योंकि अभी क्या ऐसा हो रहा है कि बहुत सारे लोगों का जो जॉब है वो जा चुका है. तो मतलब आईटी सेक्टर की जो मतलब चलिए ठीक है, गवर्नमेंट तो कह रही है कि आप सैलरी 3 महीने का आप जो दे, लेकिन बोलने से कुछ नहीं होता है ना, क्योंकि कंपनी की जब कमाई नहीं होगी तो ऑब्वियस सी बात हो देगी नहीं.
Absolutely.
तो अभी प्रॉब्लम्स क्या हो रही है कि जस्ट मैं देख रहा था कि बहुत सारे लोग, एक तो क्या है कि जो माइग्रेट करके आ रहे हैं, अब तो मुझे नहीं लगता है कि वो जो दिल्ली पंजाब और जाकर के वो कमाएंगे. ठीक है, तो वो जो अपने गांव में आ रहे हैं उनका क्या सर्वाइव, कैसे वो सर्वाइव करेंगे. देन सेकंड है कि जो आईटी सेक्टर में काम कर रहे थे बहुत सारे लोग, क्योंकि उनके पास बिजनेस, कंपनी के पास बिजनेस नहीं रही, तो ऑब्वियस सी बात है वो अपने एम्प्लॉयज को वो फायर करेंगे. तो अब यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है कि जो एम्प्लॉयज हैं, जो माइग्रेट पर्सन हैं, उन सभी का एक मेंटल इशू आ रहा है कि वो सोच रहे हैं कि मैं अपनी फैमिली को सर्वाइव कैसे करवाऊं. तो यहाँ पे क्या रहा कि वो काफी अपने आप को लग रहा, मतलब वो फील कर पा रहे होंगे कि मैं कैसे अपने आप को सर्वाइव करवाऊंगा, मैं अपनी लाइफ पार्टनर को कैसे मतलब इंगेज करूंगा. तो ये इन सभी चीजों को लेकर के गवर्नमेंट का क्या प्लान है, तो ये सब चीज काफी कुछ चीजें दिमाग में चल रही है.
थैंक यू विनय. हमारे पास कुछ समय और बाकी है, सो इफ देयर आर अदर पीपल हु वुड लाइक टू टॉक, and you know, there was Ashok had written something a lot about fights and abuses over social media between people over information, and Nikita also spoke about that. Are there any other thing you want youth to be aware of? Kajal, if you'd like to share some of the recommendations that came last time.
Right, sure. I'll also just pick up from where Vinay left. I think Vinay आपने बहुत अच्छे से कहा कि रियलिटी फिलहाल ये है कि जॉब नहीं है, पैसे नहीं हैं, और उसकी काफ़ी कंसर्न है. और उसके आसपास का क्या काम चल रहा है? Is there also a narrative that is forming that what can be an opportunity that can be created? अगर हम वापस गाँव जा रहे हैं तो क्या हम लोकलाइजेशन का नैरेटिव वहाँ पर सीड कर सकते हैं कि कैसे हम हमारी खुद की जगह पे हम क्या नया शुरू कर सकते हैं, यहाँ पे क्या रिक्वायरमेंट है ये कम्युनिटी की, उसके हिसाब से क्या हो सकता है. तो जब हम नैरेटिव और रियलिटी की बात कर रहे हैं, हम ये कह रहे हैं कि यस, हम अपना रियलिटी को एक्नॉलेज करें और उसके साथ साथ हम हमारा उसके आसपास का क्या नैरेटिव बना रहे हैं उससे भी जुड़ते जाएं. और इसी बातचीत में हमने जब लास्ट टाइम की थी, when we spoke last time, there were some 4 very broad ones which came in. One was very connected to what you shared, which is create an alternative narrative for the future. What can be the new thing that we can work around? Alongside, another one came is, can we share stories of positive hope, inclusion on social media, WhatsApp? क्योंकि जब हम फॉरवर्ड करें तब हम सिर्फ मजाक या किसी चीज को डिसरिस्पेक्ट करने वाली नहीं, बट क्या हमको एंकरेज करना है, क्या एम्पलीफाई करना है, उसके बारे में शेयर करें. तीसरा एक था कि हम पॉजिटिव स्टोरी शेयर करें, बट उसके साथ साथ क्या हम स्पेसेस भी क्रिएट कर पाए जहाँ पे लोग डायलॉग या ग्रीफ के बारे में बात कर पाए कि क्या उनको दर्द है, क्या उनको नहीं पसंद आ रहा है, क्या उनकी अभी कठिनाइयाँ हैं. सिर्फ पॉजिटिव कहने का मतलब ये नहीं कि आप आपके दर्द को, आपके ग्रीफ को, आपके कंसर्न्स को साइड में रख दो. तो उन दोनों को कैसे हम होल्ड कर पाए. और एक चौथा था कि क्या हम कोलैबोरेट ज्यादा कर सकते हैं सोशल सेक्टर, क्या हम साथ में आके कुछ नैरेटिव्स फ्रेम करके उसको और ज्यादा एम्पलीफाई कर सकते हैं, क्या हम ग्राउंड से स्टोरीज लाके उनके बारे में और बात कर पाए. तो ये काफी इम्पोर्टेंट 4 पॉइंट्स थे. और प्राप्ति ने चैट में कुछ शेयर किया है जो बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट उन्होंने लिखा है.
Prapti has a very good point. Prapti, would you share it, please? And while Prapti is unmuting herself, I request everybody to use the Padlet to put in some more, thoughts that you have that would help us to listen to everybody. Prapti, go ahead.
Yeah. So, this is a thing that we have actually done in our college. So, I'm a journalism student. So, we always study news and we see a lot. We actually have done an analysis also, how COVID has been reported by different journalism, by different institutes. So, we saw that, there is a lot of misinformation and there is a lot of information clutter. So to tackle with that, can we just pick our sources ourselves? We can do it personally, we can do it collectively. that these are the sources of information which I want to consume, and then the rest of the sources just keep them aside, because we know that these are the sources from where the misinformation is coming. Like for me, I have started started consuming news from the Optimist. They push only positive stories. This has actually helped me encourage myself. So I think sources can be spread widely, so that so that I don't consume a lot of information also. Because what happens is, when I keep on reading news, so my mind also actually has a lot of information which I can't also process. So that was my point.
Yeah, great. That's a very important point, and it came up in our last webinar also. We had a lot of discussions around this. Anybody, we have, I think, about 5 or 7 minutes left, but if there are anybody that we have missed and who have not spoken, Divya, you want to kind of speak, make your point on yeah, go ahead.
Okay, Shoini. Actually, I just typed it because I wasn't sure of the time. But again, I just feel there's this, because the digital world has suddenly come into center stage so much. There's a lot of, I was for myself personally, as well as people that I know, where there's ample access to information. And now the worry is more about what are our children consuming on the net. They are on the net for hours. You don't know what they're doing. I know there was this recent case in Gurgaon where this boy committed suicide. So a lot of worries that parents have around the kind of information that children are consuming, and whether or not this will isolate them further, etc., etc. Vis-a-vis, again, in the rural areas where girls are not having access to, if in one family there's one smartphone, then probably it's the father or the brother who's going to get access to it. How do we negotiate in those spaces? And even there, probably they might be allowed if it's for school, or if it's for maybe an NGO wants to get in touch with a girls group member, that might still be seen as legitimate. So, maybe those could be the strategies to reach out to those girls. But then how do we expand that space, to allow them to use it also for entertainment, also to link up with their friends, because those are really important aspects of their life as well. So it's a dilemma right now, but we'll have to figure out the ways. And I think for parents also, I didn't bother to be very tech savvy for so long. Maybe it's time I educated myself better, so that I'm able to actually understand what it is that my son is actually doing, while he's on the phone for hours.
Usme mera ek personal paradox hai, or I'd like to add to that, is that we are asking now girls to, in rural areas specifically, to be digitally educated, right? And there is a huge moral police down on girls' use of phones. So how do we, match these paradoxes? We cannot say love jihad and this and that, and look at girls using phones as somebody who's going to run away from home and elope and do something. That's the kind of thought that goes on in parents' minds and communities' minds when they see a girl with a phone in rural areas. So how do we marry that to each other is something that I wanted to do. I want to also say here. Anybody else would like to share anything more for the youth? And please also, keep using the Padlet. I saw some very interesting comments there also. And of course, thank you very much for putting things down on chat, which is great. Ramnik, I don't know whether you'd like to say something on this, on what you've been writing. These are very important points. Would you like to say, give some directive to youth about that?
No, I think I've already written that in the chat, Sohini. And I think, like what I've mentioned, I have also struggled for my own well-being. When I see all this happening, I think it definitely impacts you at many levels. And I think what young people can do if they're frustrated is just reach out, support, help, volunteer, and also share it with others and educate others and do the same. So yeah.
Actually, I would like to say one more point. Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
that is in especially for the young children and youths, the problem is coming up when this lockdown period will be pulled up. So at that time, we are presuming that in the part of the child protection, that lot of child marriage will be, takes place, and also the trafficking will be a big issues, because right now all the traffickers came in the rural area or in the community, and because of the poor economic system, they are helping to the families, and after this thing will be over, then they will take those youths or girls. Trafficking will be a big issues. So this is the right time. We have to make a plan for that, how we can restore our girl children.
I think we've, yeah, I think Abhijit has put himself on mute, but that was an important point. Shalini, can I request you to share what we have as part of guidelines for youth, and maybe we could just take a minute to look at it, and please put your comments on the Padlet if you can, while we are looking at it, and while Shalini is pulling up her screen. Rita, very important points. Can you please put it on the Padlet as well, Rita? Thank you so much. Kejal, would you like to kind of just wrap up the recommendations and see if there are some more that can come?
Sure. I'll just read out for now for the first one. For the young people, building a capacity to ask the right questions and ecosystems around to support them. Second one is need to identify credible sources of information, right? And I think third, also what recently Rita was mentioning, how do we, Rita, sorry if I must have missed the name, how do we also educate parents, and how do we build their understanding of what is happening vis-a-vis the entire education and the internet part of it? That can also that can be part of the recommendations part. Alongside also a couple of points just very recently came, what Ramneek was mentioning also, we could add that in terms of can young people look at opportunities to volunteer, find newer ways to engage, and can that help us to build this concern of what do I do ahead as career for young people can get channelized to understanding, learning, building capacity. So some of these points also we'll just add it on the presentation so that they are all captured. The chat is getting saved.
Any last thoughts, anybody? We have precisely 2 minutes left. So any last thoughts on anybody on the way forward? Any guidelines that you think we must put there? It's like,
can I just say something? It's actually something Rita mentioned in her chat, and that's been one of my, it's been bothering me for a while now. This thing about just the fact that when we stop consuming too much, people lose jobs, and there is a big chunk of population suffers. So more demand, more consumption, and therefore more destruction of nature and all the things connected to the lifestyle that we are in. It just sometimes seems like, we can see what's wrong with it, but if we stop, then people just don't have food to eat, and there are such repercussions of it. So right now also in the the last speech that Modi gave, and Atmanirbharta and all the things he's talking about, that greater demand is what we need. And we can see like the policies, how money is being allocated now, it's all gearing towards a greater demand, towards greater manufacturing, etc. But I don't have answers, but I would love to just think of what are the alternatives. And this is really a lot of what we are facing right now. It's all connected to the economic system, how money gets generated, the developmental paradigms, etc. So between, people losing jobs, not having enough work, and extremely high consumption, high manufacturing, high demand, I mean, are these the only two choices we have? What is the way in between? And not idealistic, not very idealistic ways. Maybe I'm calling them idealistic because I'm also used to there's a certain baggage in my head, but I would love to just be part of conversations that are exploring that alternative development narratives.
It is a relevant question, and and if we are saying that large amount of consumerism has brought us here, and then if you do not do it, we are also doomed, right? So I don't have also any answer to that, but it's an important point. So thank you very much from the bottom of my heart, KJ. And we will be going back to the main room in 6 seconds. So thank you very much for participating. We will have more dialogues on this. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Okay, just waiting for maybe 2-3 minutes more for some people to return to the main room.
Everyone is back. Please say everyone is back.
So we have about the last 15-20 minutes. Stay with us. There's a nice, lovely send-off, a surprise send-off, and some nice stories I want to tell just after this, and a little exercise that we'll ask you to do. But first, the rooms. So I know I was in one of them. Wonderful, really lovely discussions, and yeah, it was like a cook-up. We were all like cooks in a kitchen. So many ingredients being thrown in, so much coming together, and I loved the chats, Padlet, as well as audio, everything going together. So it was wonderful and felt really energizing. I'm sure it did for all of you. I'd like the room hosts, and I'll ask Shoini, Shankar, and Avinash to just sum up. Of course, show us the recommendations, a little bit, the slides, etc. But also from your own experience and your own being a part of that room, what did it feel like? What was the discussion like? And what are the things you are taking away? The few important things that you feel are some things that are like calls for action almost out of all the recommendations that are coming out for you. So love to hear a call of action as well from the three of you. So let's start with, and I'm only asking these three because we also have, of course, the co-host, but because the time, we'll get about 3 to 4 minutes. So we just hear one person from that room, one host from that room. Let's begin with, I've heard a lot of Shoini because I was in that room. So I'll take her last. Let's begin with Avinash. Avinash, would you like to just tell us how did your room go? And a few points, if somebody can put up the slide from Avinash's room.
Thanks, Arjun. Yes, pretty decent participation, I must say, and a lot of questions, answers, a lot of concerns raised about what's happening around us. And from both, and what was interesting was while there's a predominantly on the first aspect, for example, on the first question which we had about guidelines for states and what should states be doing around, what came out very interestingly, of course, predominant focus was around agriculture and revival of rural lives, so to speak, and in that context, rural livelihoods. How are they interlinked, especially in a context when a lot of migrants are actually going back to their homes? And the huge amount of discussion happened around not simply about actually reviving agriculture so that there's a greater stake for those who are going back or those who are already there, but also diversification of rural livelihoods, about questions around a further skilling of rural entrepreneurs, which is more experiential rather than theoretical or at macro level. What was also very important was actually that how do we bring out, and this was a critical recommendation, that there's a large sector of rural entrepreneurs is actually informal and they don't have access to credits, banks, all those things, and forget about even decent skilling and so on. How do we bring them under a kind of a formal setup? Because as we know, data also tells us the same story. 99% of them are in that. On one of the other things which was very important was, of course, with concern about the recent changes in the labor laws, and there was a larger concern, of course, concern that these labor laws need to be reviewed, especially proposed reform, and they need to be pulled back if possible, because they are obviously going to further make wage earners and laborers further vulnerable. One of the other point on this was also, and which was very interesting point, which was brought in by another speaker, was that in the middle of all this, we are forgetting the whole lot of a lot of children who are coming back or who are already there with their parents in the many of these places who don't have access to Zooms and online phones and services. What about their education? What was their means of actually engagement, which is going to be actually in a stasis for long? Schools have been converted into quarantines and so on, and centers and so on. What about them? And how do we actually make sure that that also comes on that? On the youth, a lot of focus was primarily about how do we re-engage them, especially looking at their energy, which has been very, very visible in the last few months in terms of relief. In the last few months, actually, not just during COVID, which has again shown itself, but even before, somebody talked about how in Bihar floods they acted, during CA and RC protests, or during COVID, that all over it's the youth which is primarily leading the relief, rehabilitation, relief action work. How do we actually give them a sense of collectivization, one, and give them a formal sense of the fact that they've got a voice even at the local level, not necessarily only at the national level, while they're showing this much of energy? How is that we recognize their leadership? So I think that's a very important point which came up. What also came up was that how do we in that process then we collectivize them and bring this collectivization which has already happened through smaller networks in some ways. How do we make sure that this energy is not dissipated but converted to something where they can also convert themselves into more constructive upskilling of their own energy, with which they can move into entrepreneur-based action in the future? I'll stop here.
Okay, wonderful. Again, lovely discussions. Loved it. Thank you so much. I'm going to ask Shankar if you could wrap up your room.
Yeah, sure. So we had a good bunch of people in the room. We struggled a bit in getting people to put their hands up because I think that the technology was sometimes getting a bit complicated, but we succeeded finally, and we got a lot of inputs coming. The Padlet was kept very busy, as was the chats, and I think Kanika and I kept having to keep one eye on the what was happening in the chat, so that we could bring that into the main discussion, and also invite people who were on the chat to bring us into the main discussion. So very lively discussion. So some of the points, the deck is out there. So I think it's captured most of the points that we were trying to make. First was obviously the focus on transparency. I think people understood this paradox, and the way to deal with the paradox, they said, is that you got to. I mean, the chief minister has to be more transparent to all of us. We are not. I mean, treat us like adults. Treat us like irresponsible, informed citizens, rather than somebody who you just have to throw stuff at and we just have to listen. So that was very much part of what everybody felt. The second one was, of course, trying to say that the center and the state need to tango together. This is not a competition. This is not a blame game. It's about how we work together. Recognizing fully well that one size cannot fit all. So how do we make that dance happen? And basically urging the chief minister that you need to make the dance happen. Otherwise, this is just not going to work. And similarly, you need to take that within the state to the other stakeholders and go through that whole process of discussion and try and engage so that you come to a more informed way of how we want to respond. The third point was on public health, because I think the whole question was when the paradox was sort of articulated as democratic rights and public health. The first question that came to everyone's mind is, what is this public health we're talking about? Because that is in such shambles. So this whole discussion would become more real if you really actually had public health. You had a public health institution that was working, that was functional, that could actually respond. Because if you take away the democratic rights and then don't have a public health system, then what are you left with? So, you know, cannot compromise on public health, on public education. So a lot more investment needs to happen in that. So that was the third point that was being made. The fourth point that was made was on young people. I'm not necessarily going in the order, but for young people, I think this came out quite strongly, saying that you need to treat young people and recognize their agency. None of the announcements are actually addressing young people, and young people have different identities. So this needs to be part of how you're going to respond as a state to this COVID issue. Then, of course, migrants was talked about. It is the big issue, and I think there was concern expressed that when migrants go back, they are actually nowhere people, right? So the cities, they live in horrible conditions in the cities. They want to go back. How does the state, when Chief Minister, when these migrants come to your state, how are we going to treat them? You need to treat them with compassion. You need to treat them with transparency. Everybody needs to know how you're going to be, what's going to happen to them when they come back. So a lot more of openness in terms of how you're going to deal with migrants. That needs to be very clear. And then, of course, the basic human rights issues, because a lot of fault lines gets exposed in any form of crisis, including this one.
One moment, Shankar. Yeah, Shatra, if you could, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Shankar. Go ahead, Shankar.
Shankar, you're on mute. Huh?
No, I'm not actually on mute. But
Now
anyway,
yeah.
No. I was muted by the host. So, yeah. So the last point was basically looking at everything from a human rights lens. Fault lines that come out, fault lines that exist, that get wider during a crisis, whether it's biases against certain people of certain religious pursuits, certain regions, all these need to get addressed. And the state has to actually take ownership and address this and make sure that these fault lines do not appear in their address. So I think these were broadly the 5 or 6 points that sort of came out from our discussion. Kanika, you want to add anything specific on the young people, please?
No, Shankar, I think you've covered part of it. I think we're short of time and it's here. So we'll also share the PPT with everyone.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Right. Thanks so much, Shankar and Kanika. Lovely. Great. I'm going to quickly ask to get prepared everybody to share the Padlets, because that also gives a feel of how much actually the participation was. So from every room, we'll just be sharing the Padlets, all 3 one by one, just to get a feel, right? Not now. The third group was Shohini and Kejal, the co-hosting. Again, a great, at least I was part of that. So wonderful discussion. Shohini, if you could do a wrap for that room.
So we had good participation, you know, about 13 people spoke, and then some people spoke, you know, more than once. So very rich discussion. There were a lot of, you know, points which came up. I'm probably not going to read all of this, but, you know, some of the main ones, you know, one of the things was that the information on public health, you know, the narrative is that of a public health, but we are not seeing information on public health and what is happening on the health factor of COVID-19 come to us more. So we need more information on that, more testing, all of those kind of things, and demystification of all of those kind of things. The Arogya Setu app was something that we talked about. We said, you know, look, this is an app which the government has mandated. Now the government needs to ensure and, you know, kind of quieten our voices, you know, saying that, please, this is, you know, this ensures your privacy. And also tell us about what happens when people do not have access to smartphones. How are you going to use the Arogya Setu app then? You know, so these are some of the directives that the government needs to tell us. There's also a paradox of between, you know, what is the, you know, it's not all cooking lessons and learning skills on the social media, right? There's a lot of mental health, a lot of domestic violence and other issues connected to the pandemic. How is directives on that being included in the government directives on pandemic? We are being asked to, you know, social distance ourselves, wear masks, cover your mouth while you're speaking, but what are the other kind of things that the government needs to tell us about the pandemic, which is the reality, you know. Children became a real important point of conversation, and especially also children who are migrant workers. You know, there's no visibility of children as migrant workers in this whole conversation around migrant workers, and also other issues with children in terms of social media, you know, use digital, but you know, what is the harmful effect of that, regular access to girls for internet in the rural areas, what are they being allowed to allowed usage of that for. These were some of the directives that came for the guidelines to the government. When it came to the youth, one of the, you know, very rich discussion we had, and we've had that in the last webinar also, is the whole paradox between fake news and reality, you know. So, and I think somebody made a very interesting comment that this is not just for young people, this is for everybody, is to just check the veracity of the fake news, check the origin before you know, give it away to 1,000 people on your WhatsApp list, you know. Check the veracity, check what is it, and let the youth not be the vehicle for spreading fake news. Yeah. Also, the capacity of young people to ask questions around the ecosystem around them, you know, the right questions. What, you know, so there are lots of, you know, economic stuff going on. There are working from home directives being given, all sorts of things going on. How do we develop the ability of young people to ask the right questions at the right time? Somebody said the Nehru Yuva Kendras needs revival. I think everybody wants to kind of see that the youth institutions around youth needs to be talked about, needs to be visible, and there needs to be some conversation around how do we see them in future. I'll stop here. Kajal, if there are anything that I think you know, there's any important point that I've missed, request you to kind of, you know, remind us of that again. Thank you so much.
I think we can have Arjun continue with short on time.
Yeah, great. Thanks.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Okay, I think you wanted to show the Padlets. If you could just quickly show the Padlets, and I will continue talking meanwhile, because just to show the richness of the discussion that went on in different rooms. I don't think we'll have time to go to all the points that came up, but they were all wonderful, beautiful points. I'm going to also ask whether we can stretch this. I hope everybody can stretch this for 2-3 minutes past our 1 o'clock deadline, because there's something interesting we want to do, and it might take us beyond the 10 minutes that I have. And I hope I can ask people to hang before lunch for 2-3 minutes extra beyond. Right, so these are the 3 Padlets, these are the rooms, this is what people have been saying. Now I just want to take us back to, you know, what we started with. We started with the idea of holding the whole. There are paradoxes. How will we hold the whole? Holding the whole. Let me talk about the first thing that we spoke about. We spoke about, if you remember, and if you can put up that slide, is that, you know, we put up some end notes in a sense. The first thing is this doubting of the single story, that we must be hopeful skeptics. We don't have to, we're not questioning people, but we can ask questions of things. So I think asking questions, doubting, there's too much surety in the world today. There's too much surety in the world today. Everybody seems to say, oh, this is it, now let's go with this. And if you saw even in the Mentimeter, the first question we asked, yes, no, uncertain. We had a lot of yes, no's, less no's, but a lot of yeses, very few uncertainties. So we think in an urgent scenario, we just need either the black or the white, but can we be looking at the zebra truth, the black and the white? So doubting the single story, very important. Looking for what's not in the plot. You know, there's always something or the other missing. We have, let's say, you know, there was this farmer who is buying very expensive seeds for the farms around him. He goes around buying expensive seeds, खरीद के वो बहुत पैसे देके खरीद के दूसरे लोगों को दे रहा है. वो दूसरे लोगों को seeds दे रहा है, तो वो लोग पूछते हैं कि मेरे को क्यों दे रहा है तू seed, इतने तेरे पास पैसे लगा के तूने मुझे क्यों दिया? Why are you giving that seed to me? I can't understand it. There's something not in the plot here. So that's the question we have to ask. Look for what's not in the plot. So think about it. Why does a farmer buy expensive seeds for his or her neighbors? Well, simply because when you are putting the farm around you has good crops and a good फसल निकल के उसकी फसल अच्छी आएगी, तो उससे जो आपकी फसल की पॉलिनेशन होगी, पॉलिनेशन विंड से होती है आसपास की फसल से, तो मेरा भी फसल ठीक हो जाएगा. My crop depends on all the crops of my neighbors around me. And now that's a great paradox. Self and people, self to society. How do we really get our this paradox of self to society, which is like a mother paradox, in fact, to be something we can live the whole. Now, so determining that opposing story within the main thing. The Constitution is here is a great help, because the Constitution has many different interpretations of many paradoxes that have come together, and then many cases that have come on the Constitution. So I do really urge every active citizen to look at the Constitution. One common story we have, which has very complex truth. It has a complex truth, not only subjective truths, not only normative truths, but all the cases come together, put together on the constitutional interpretations, are a wonderful place for active citizens to look and act on. Of course, what's really important also is you can't live two stories together. It's very difficult. You can't live two stories together. But think about this. Again, a mother of paradoxes. Think about the way we breathe. We breathe in oxygen. If the oxygen becomes too much, I can die. So I have to breathe it out, and that comes out as carbon dioxide. So inhale, exhale is one of the fantastic examples of paradoxes that I've learned. That you have to do both, but in quick succession. You have to remember I'm doing this, but I have to remember in my mind that I'm going to just be exhaling now. Also, finally, in case you've picked up the one end of the stick, then you have to know, by chance you had to pick up one end of the stick like we did in the lockdown, where we did have to lock down for lives for some reason anyway, we did. But we know that the other will come with it. That means it'll come and hit me at the back sometime or the other. You can't expect that, अच्छा मैंने एक कहानी पकड़ ली तो दूसरी कहानी का अपने आप घूम जाएगी, वो कहीं नहीं घूमेगी. वो आपको आके सर पे मारेगी पीछे से दूसरी साइड से. और वो हमें अभी हो रहा है जब हम देख रहे हैं कि ये livelihoods का जब सिनेरियो आ रहा है और इकोनॉमी का सिनेरियो आ रहा है. Okay, so just some quick takeaways for us on the idea of paradoxes as a whole, because it's not only about these three paradoxes. Paradoxes are lived at every point. The most important, as we said, in these times has been, we can put the slide away now. The most important thing I feel at this time has been that we have all had great psychosocial shifts. And psychosocial shifts मतलब कि दिमागी मानसिक जो shifts हैं और जो समाज में shift हैं, बहुत सारी चीजें अपने आप ही shift हो गई हैं. हमको समझ में नहीं आया कि कैसे shift हुई, बहुत जल्दी सब कुछ shift हुआ है. और वो shift को हमें अगर रखना है, if you want to keep the change, then as Meenu Venkateshwaran, my friend, tells me always, that we have to reflect on it. We have to reflect for a moment on it. So I'd like you to reflect right now on some of the shifts that have happened in your life and the paradoxes that we face. For example, a personal paradox, and I'm thinking more personal here because we've just done the social. Personal paradox that I have lived during this time, and it's interesting, and my daughter actually is not on the screen but is sitting next to me just for this. But I'd like to say that when my daughter, and her screen usage, one of the things we've talked about in Narratives for Reality, the screen usage of young people who have access. And how do I control that? Much. So this paradox for me, this controlling and letting go, has been an interesting paradox that I have been grappling with. One of the ways I've tried to hold the whole is that I've also started to talk about, let's make a constitution for the family where you have some rights, I also have some rights. And then together we can have a family constitution which allows us both to live the paradox better. So can you reflect for a minute on your paradox that you would like to live and stay with it, that you've managed in these times to do a good job of holding the whole? A personal paradox like mine of controlling and letting go. we can have some little music at the back. Especially because we're going to finish with some music. So let's have some little music at the back.
Who?
Okay, and if you could just quickly put some of these down as it's coming up, just the paradox. Roughly. Put it down on your chats, please. Very softly. Loud. So yeah, if anything, that if you can just keep reflecting and take this away for yourself to think. I'm sure it just began thinking about it, but we aren't going to take too much time on this, that we have our closures. Now, you know, there was one suggestion from people that we'd like to have your feedback. So I would like to, and just after that we'll have the closure, but just quickly, there is a feedback section which is on your chat. I think the feedback is going to be given on, on the Padlet. So don't just put it in the chat. If you can put it, I think people are putting things on their chat, but also if you could just put it on the Padlet for us. Simple, what has worked, what has not worked. We can take this away. If you could just click on the Padlet, and lots of people are also putting their paradoxes here. That's great. We can also just quickly have some feedback. We'll give 2 minutes. And Nakshit, if you could softly put some music, softly. The feedback is up here. Fake? Oh. We'd like to take your recommendations into our Vartalip conversation. Vartalip, as you know, is, as I started, a cross-sectoral coalition which is trying to make every youth a Jagrik and every space a Jagrik happen. And we'd love all of you to join us. And please keep putting your feedback here. Thanks so much. Your feedback will be very helpful. We are doing this the second time, and we're going to hope that these are events that we can host more of. The Vartalip Coalition feedback would be really welcome. Please keep putting some feedback there. So a few coming in. Anybody else, including hosts, co-hosts, everybody can just give us. We'd love. There are still about almost 100 people here. At least 50 feedback lines would be great. Feedback lines, just single 1 or 2 lines would be lovely. And also give us some kind of validation, as well as it'll give us some recommendations and other things we can take to other places as well. Stay for the last send off. Yeah. Okay, before we do a final closure, a formal closure, there's a closing note on the Charcha 2020 that is happening after this. So please join there. After this 1-5, please join the closing address, and we have the people who are going to be there. Rohini is going to be there. Rohini Nilekani, Ashish Dhawan, Sanjay Pugalia from Quint. All these people would be talking there. Some renowned change makers. So please join us there as well. Yeah. And now we have an interesting send-off. We've been looking, for a song that can tell us about paradoxes. I'd like everybody to their videos on and unmute their audios. If you could all just unmute your audio. Mute your videos and everybody together, all of us.
Wow, very nice.
Together now. To do something. The song is.
हमें मुझे वीडियो ऑन करना है, हाँ, तो थोड़ा सा वही रहना का मीटिंग में.
मेरी बात वीडियो ऑन करें, पर अभी बोले मत. उसने किया आपको. Okay, so I think we have to just 1 minute hold on with the song is called आने वाला कल जाने वाला है, आने वाला पल जाने वाला है, इस पल में जिंदगी बिता लो जो आने वाला है, जो जाने वाला है. तो इट्स लाइक अ पैराडॉक्स सॉन्ग. आने वाला भी है, जाने वाला भी है, इस पल में पूरी जिंदगी बिता लो. Thank you very much for coming. Let's sing along for another 5 minutes. We cooked up something. We'll take it for lunch. But could you put the song on, Akshit? Do it with the karaoke with Kishore Kumar, please. Try and be as much as we can in tune. Can you put off all the? Can you put the unmute the videos, please? Unmute the audience. Unmute everybody. Click on unmute everybody. Hello. Everybody.
Unmute on the song.
Song को क्या हुआ यार?
हम सब गा सकते हैं साथ में. Doesn't matter क्या क्यों
Thank you guys so much. Bye.